थिंक लिंक्डइन वाले पे लाइव नहीं हो रहा, तो फेसबुक का नहीं चला के Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Please let me know that you can hear me in a comment box. Someone is still saying that there is no voice. Muhammad Amar? Okay, so mostly all of you can hear me. So I think we should start now. Okay, so I am Irim Zara. You might or might not know me, so I would like to introduce myself first. I am the manager of GDG Cloud Islamabad and WTM ambassador as well. Apart from community building, I work as a data scientist. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us today for this webinar. And I would like to thank our speakers who are joining us from Pakistan, Nepal, and Singapore as well. I hope you all are staying home and following the SOPs very honestly and carefully. I hope you're healthy and enjoying your quarantine as well. Well, for a person like me, this time was very hard, but then I decided to try new things. I started cooking and baking, and trust me, it is fun, and you should do that as well. I also took a lot of online courses on different things, and I believe this time is the best to enhance your skill set. Well, that's why we are here today. So let me briefly tell you what are the GDGs. So Google Developer Group are Google communities consisting of developers, designers, coders, and technology enthusiasts who work together to promote learning and development in the said field. So what we basically do is we empower developers. So what are we? Who are we? Who is GDG Cloud? So we are the first Google developer group for cloud in Pakistan. We are the local community for developers interested in resources and technologies from Google. Google supports us and recognizes all GDG chapters. And our main aim is to hold events and workshops around the Google technologies, especially Google Cloud, as part of our community building activities. So GDG Cloud Islamabad organizes events that brings together the tech geeks, developers, and entrepreneurial community for an immersive experience focused on exploring the next generation of diverse technologies. So our main focus is to bring awareness of the latest Google technologies among techies, connecting people under one umbrella, hands-on experience of latest technologies, latest Google technologies. Increase the number of developers with expertise in Google technologies who can spread this knowledge among other techies, developers, students, and professionals. So why this webinar? I would not go into details about the program Cloud Seekho. Obviously, this webinar is all about Cloud Seekho. I would like to invite Saad, and he will brief you on this program, Cloud Seekho. So let's welcome our next speaker, Saad Hamid.
Hello there, Assalamu alaikum, madam.
Walaikum salam, Saad. How are you?
I'm good. Again, thank you for inviting me, and I'm very, very excited to be here to share about Cloud Seekho and to be here with your team as well. GDG Cloud Islamabad has been an amazing chapter supporting us in different activities, and I'll just quickly introduce myself. So, मेरा नाम साद है और I work at Google as a community manager. और मेरा जो काम है वो है to support communities such as the different GD chapters that are available in Pakistan जिससे लोग आके नई नई technologies को सीखते हैं. And our job here is to help you learn things, reflect on things, upskill yourself, and जितना आपका journey है from the time that you are a student to the time that you're maybe building a $1 billion company or actually working in a $1 billion company, we want to provide those resources in terms of talent, in terms of capital, in terms of opportunity that will help you get there. And a very major part of that is cloud. So ये एक initiative गूगल ने बनाया है जिसका नाम है क्लाउड सीखो, एंड आई विल बी गेटिंग इनटू दैट अ लिटिल बिट. But overall cloud के बारे में, and my colleague Shafraz here will talk more about cloud and the opportunity with cloud and Google Cloud Platform, जिसकी मैंने टी शर्ट भी आज यहाँ पे पहनी हुई है. बट दुनिया काफ़ी ज़्यादा चेंज हो रही है. अगर आपने कोविड की सिचुएशन में भी देखा हो, ये जो कोरोना वायरस की सिचुएशन है, तो इसमें एवरीवन इज मूविंग टुवर्ड्स द क्लाउड. कंपनीज क्लाउड की तरफ जा रही हैं. एवरीवन इज ट्राइंग टू फाइंड अपॉर्चुनिटीज ऑफ डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन. एंड उसी में एक बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर ये आ जाता है कि आप एज अ डेवलपर और एज अ क्रिएटर, व्हाट स्किल्स डू यू हैव, व्हाट टेक्नोलॉजीज हैव यू लर्न, या क्या क्या चीज़ें आपने सीखी हुई हैं which will help you stand out, which will help you find a better job, which will help you find, create a better startup, which will make you different. And that's what Cloud Seekho is all about. तो थोड़ा सा हम इसको जल्दी से एक इसका ओवरव्यू लेते हैं. सो क्लाउड सीखो का एक अपना लिंक है. आप जब गूगल पे जाके लिखेंगे क्लाउड सीखो, सो यू विल बी एबल टू फाइंड दैट लिंक. और उसका एक लैंडिंग पेज है विच लुक समथिंग लाइक दिस. सो उस पे आपको डेट नजर आ रही होगी. सो इट स्टार्टेड ऑन जून 19th एंड इट्स गोइंग ऑन टिल जून 4th. और यहाँ पे हमने एक थोड़ी सी इंफॉर्मेशन है जो मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगा कि ये प्राइमरीली ये जो इनिशिएटिव है ये स्टूडेंट डेवलपर्स के लिए. सो वी आर लुकिंग एट students who are maybe in their first year, maybe in their final year. We're looking at students who maybe recently just graduated and they're looking for a job. We are looking for students जो कि शायद अभी अभी यूनिवर्सिटी में आए हों. We're looking for all kind of students. और ख़ासतौर पे उस तरह के स्टूडेंट्स जो कि कंप्यूटर साइंस से जिनका ताल्लुक है, या जो इंजीनियरिंग में है, या जिनका आईटी के शोबे से कोई ताल्लुक है, एनी वन हु इज इनटू टेक्नोलॉजी. बट एट द सेम टाइम वी आर नॉट लिमिटिंग. हम ये नहीं कह रहे कि अगर आपका टेक्नोलॉजी से कोई ताल्लुक नहीं है तो आप इसमें एंटर ना हो. क्योंकि अगर आपका इसमें कोई जो टेक्नोलॉजी में आप नहीं भी हैं लेकिन आप एमबीए कर रहे हैं, या आप लेट्स से कोई और चीज पढ़ रहे हैं, या आप इकोनॉमिक्स भी पढ़ रहे हैं, या आप डेटा साइंटिस्ट भी हैं, एनी वन of you can come and learn this technology using the Cloud Seekho initiative that we have. और उसी के बारे में मैं थोड़ा सा आपको बताने लगा हूँ. तो जो पूरा इनिशिएटिव है that's hosted on a platform called Qwick Labs, और उसके बारे में मैं आपको थोड़ा सा आगे बताऊंगा. But the first part is to understand कि why you should be a part of it. कि first of all, it's a great learning opportunity. So you can learn, you can upskill yourself घर बैठे बैठे, खासतौर पे बिकॉज आई नो आजकल मोबिलिटी काफी लिमिटेड हुई है. एंड यू कैन हैव समथिंग ऑन योर रेज्यूमे और योर सीवी टू शो. सो दिस इज वन थिंग दैट एम्प्लॉयर्स रियली रियली अप्रिशिएट कि आपने अपने फ्री टाइम में क्या किया. और दिस इज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू शो. एंड वी आर वेरी लकी टू गेट स्टूडेंट पार्टिसिपेंट्स जिन्होंने 6 क्वेस्ट तो क्या वो ऑलरेडी उन्होंने जो है ना 12 क्वेस्ट या ज्यादा जो है ना वो क्रॉस कर लिए. तो आप इससे ज्यादा भी कर सकते हैं, कोई लिमिट नहीं है. यू कैन डू एज मेनी क्वेश्चन एज पॉसिबल. डेडलाइन इसकी जो है ये 4 जुलाई है. सजेशन आपको ये है कि आप इसको एज सुन एज पॉसिबल, यहाँ पे जो एक रजिस्टर का लिंक है उस पर जाके क्लिक करके यू रजिस्टर एज सुन एज पॉसिबल. इसमें हमने एक प्राइज भी डाला हुआ है, और प्राइज सबको मिलेगा जो जो उस क्वेस्ट को कंप्लीट करेंगे. एंड दैट प्राइज इज दिस रियली ब्यूटिफुल अमेजिंग लुकिंग कैप ऑफ गूगल क्लाउड एंड दिस बॉटल. सो ये पाकिस्तान में आपको आपके घर पे डिलीवर होगी. प्रोसेस क्या होगा कि पहले आप जाके साइन अप करेंगे, आप जो अवेलेबल क्वेस्ट हैं इनको कंप्लीट करेंगे, और उसके बाद ये आपको घर पे डिलीवर हो जाएगी. सो ये क्वेस्ट क्या है, थोड़ा सा मैं इसका बेसिक सा आइडिया दे देता हूँ. क्वेस्ट बेसिकली इज अ सेट ऑफ लैब्स. तो ये जब आप क्विक लैब्स का प्लेटफॉर्म अपना खोलेंगे, यहाँ पे क्लिक करेंगे या इसका जो पूरा एक प्रोसेस है उसको फॉलो करेंगे, तो वहाँ पे लैब्स हैं, और लैब्स कम्युनिकेटिवली मेक क्वेस्ट. और ये सेल्फ गाइडेड है. सेल्फ गाइडेड का क्या मतलब है कि आपने खुद, कोई चैलेंज नहीं है कि आपने खुद करना है या आपने खुद फिगर आउट करना है. वो आपको कंसोल पूरा बताएगा कि कैसे कैसे यूज करते हैं और कैसे कैसे इसको आप जो है ना सीख सकते हैं. एंड you can do this in a very very self guided manner, and I think that's a very very amazing opportunity. And honestly, at my time when I was a student, such things did not exist. So yes, I'm very very jealous कि यार अभी स्टूडेंट्स को इस तरह की अपॉर्चुनिटीज, एक्सेलेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज अवेलेबल हैं, और यही हम अपॉर्चुनिटी यंग डेवलपर्स को देना चाह रहे हैं जो कि पाकिस्तान में एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, और जो अपने आप को अपस्किल करके जो चीज़ें सीख के दे कैन चेंज देयर लाइफ्स. सो बाकी जो चीज़ें रह जाती हैं वही थोड़ी सी यही हैं कि आपने रजिस्टर करना है, एंड व्हाट यू कैन विन इज बेसिकली दिस कैप एंड दिस बॉटल. आप इसको कंप्लीट करके 4 जुलाई से पहले पहले सबमिट करेंगे तो यू कैन गेट दिस स्वैग. सो ये एक बेसिक सा काइंड ऑफ इसका ओवरव्यू है कि क्लाउड सीको है क्या, और क्लाउड सीको से आप क्या कर सकते हैं. हमारे आज के सेशन में यू विल बी टॉकिंग टू अ लॉट ऑफ एक्सपर्ट्स जो कि क्लाउड के बारे में बात करेंगे. सो इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस प्लीज डू आस्क देम. आई विल बी अराउंड एज वेल. इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन फॉर मी डू आस्क मी एज वेल. कुछ चीज़ें जो मैं क्विकली मेंशन करना चाहूँ बिफोर वी मूव ऑन टू माय कॉलीग शफराज, who's by the way our cloud champion for the whole region. So you can learn a lot about cloud opportunities with him. is कि इसको एक learning opportunity लें, इसको खुद करें, but at the same time try to go beyond this and try to see कि cloud में दुनिया में क्या क्या हो रहा है. और हमने एक Slack channel बनाया हुआ है, please do join that Slack channel, because वहाँ पे हम आपको रोज रोज ये opportunities के बारे में बताते रहते हैं कि cloud is not just for developers, cloud is for software engineers, cloud is for data enthusiasts, cloud is for builders, cloud is for DevOps people, cloud is for everyone who wants to thrive in a technological world. तो खास तौर पे वी नीड मोर एंड मोर फीमेल पार्टिसिपेशन. तो अगर आपके कॉलेज, आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी में देयर आर मोर फीमेल्स, प्लीज डू आस्क देम to be a part of this. We would like to see more diversity, more representation. We would like to see people from all across Pakistan. My dream is कि हर शहर जो पाकिस्तान में एग्जिस्ट करता है उससे यूनिवर्सिटी स्टूडेंट्स इस पे आ रहे हो, उस पे साइन अप कर रहे हो. सो प्लीज डू शेयर इट विद देम. प्लीज यूज दिस एज अ ग्रेट लर्निंग अपॉर्चुनिटी, and please do connect with the mentors, the experts from which you will be learning. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Iram and the team, so we can get to hear from more amazing experts. And good luck with this. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you learn from Cloud Seekho.
Thank you so much, Saad.
Thank you so much, Iram, for inviting.
So our next speaker is Shafraz, as Saad has already told you. So I am going to invite Saad to the stream. Hello, Shafraz. How are you? Shafraz, your mic is on mute, I guess.
Oh, okay. Hey, Ram. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So now it's your turn. You have the stage.
Yeah, sure, indeed. I think Saad gave a very good introduction to Cloud Seekho, why it's important. You should learn about Google Cloud, so that it'll help you, help all of you to kind of upskill. And also during this time, we know for a fact a lot of you are waiting to learn something new, so that you can add it into your resume. Even though you are a student, it doesn't matter. It's building your resume always is it's a good thing to do, because it also gives you an opportunity to kind of showcase to your potential employer, saying that hey, I have learned Google Cloud. And also it opens up many more doors for you in the future as well. So Saad has given you an introduction. Why Cloud Seekho? What is Cloud Seekho? Why it's important? Why you should kind of take part in it? Yes, we have some amazing swags over there. For me, I want to take an approach where you have to, where you may be willing to learn after Cloud Seekho as well. I kind of want to showcase how purposefully we have created Cloud Seekho, so you can continue your learning journey. So let me go to the next slide, so we can yeah. So if you are seeing this slide, Saad already showed you these quests are mentioned in the website as well, which is the Cloud Seekho website. So the Cloud Seekho website showcase you, Saad mentioned, you need to do quests. and every quest will have set of labs or set of activities, right? So now once you kind of see all these quests, once you kind of do all these quests, you might think, hey, what's next? What can we do? Why are we doing Cloud Seekho after all? Apart from us to gain swag, right? So this is a continuous learning opportunity for all of you. Everyone in Pakistan will be interested now to be a part of Cloud Seekho. So now let's take an example. Now, first quest, if you take Google Cloud Essentials, it will talk to you about the basics of Google Cloud Platform. If you are new to cloud, if you are new to a public cloud, or if you are new to the cloud scene altogether, this would be a great way to get started. So likewise, you would see baseline infrastructure, security and fundamental understanding of cloud costs. So these things will talk to you about basic aspects of different aspects of Google Cloud Platform. So it will talk to you about the introduction, it will talk to you about the security, it will talk to you about the networking, it will talk to you about Cloud SQL. If you're a student, you might have used MySQL, PostgreSQL, or maybe other SQL type as well. And in your university, there's this another thing called Cloud SQL. It's actually again MySQL hosted in cloud, and or maybe Postgres hosted in cloud where you can use it. And there are some exciting more quests as well, which talk to you about how you could get started with data, machine learning, AI, uh, as well. So now you must be wondering, why do we have these quests? Why didn't we have some other quests apart from these ones, right? So the idea behind here is, once you have completed these quests, it gives a basic understanding about cloud, Google Cloud Platform. So from there onwards, if you want to do a certification, you can do a certification on top of that after this Cloud Seekho program. So the whole point of talking to you about the future, what's next after Cloud Seekho, is that to introduce you to what are the certification opportunities which are available once you have learned about these quests. Once you have done these quests, what's next that you could follow as well. So let me go to the next slide about Google Cloud certification. One person might think why you should get certified. So there are four things: the credibility, the industry recognition, career advancement, and personal development. So these things itself explain to you as in why it's important to you to have a certification. Now let's take an example. If you are a student who goes with only with your degree plus, and if you are if there can be another person who comes with a degree plus an additional certification as well, whom do you think will have a better chance, right? So answer, you can think of the answer by yourself. So this, of course, having a certification will upskill you, will give you a professional level experience, and also a real world experience as well. So think about this after Cloud Seekho is over, because we want to talk about the future. Why Google Cloud Certified? It's actually it's an independent study of users identified at least 6 months. Recipient of Google Cloud certifications provided positive feedback about their impact of the certification. So these are some of the statistics which have been found out once a person have completed a Google Cloud certification. Some of them have got a job offer. Some of them have got was able to move to a different career. Some of them were able to go in the higher ladder of their career as well. And if you are a person, there are a couple of certifications available inside Google Cloud. So if you once after you complete Cloud Seekho, the quests, what we would recommend is look forward for you to kind of complete Associate Cloud Engineer um, certification, which is the starting point. That's if you want to become a practitioner If you want to become like a person who's a hands-on engineer, associate cloud engineer is the examination that you can take. So there you'll be evaluated upon your technical requirements, GCP technology, and cloud computing knowledge. Once you complete your associate cloud engineer examination, there are a couple of more professional examinations also available, called professional cloud architect, data engineer, cloud developer, networking engineer, security engineer as well. Why is it called professional level certification? It's because you gain certain amount of knowledge by doing associate cloud engineer technical kind of exposure. Now it's time for you to kind of have a business knowledge, put those two together, then you can complete a professional certification. So that's why we have two different like levels, like the fundamental or introductory level, and also a professional level, associate level, and a professional level. All right. Become Google Cloud certified. There's no better time than now, because we know we have seen there are like most of you might be working from home. You will have some time. You'll not be so tired after work. So this is a good opportunity for you to kind of utilize this time to do a certification. So these are a couple of badges that you would receive if you become professional certified. You will receive a badge, and then if you become associate cloud engineer, you get the second badge that you see. Distinguish yourself when you earn a badge, advance your career, network and exchange. So this gives a like a whole lot of idea about how and why and what in other certifications which are available. So when comes to taking an exam, I think there are a couple of key highlights that we want to highlight. Is that exam must be taken at a criterion authorized test center. But the best part now is, uh, since because of the situation that we are in, associate cloud engineer, professional cloud architect, and professional data engineer examinations now available online. So if you want to take examinations, you don't have to go to a criterion test center. You can do it online as well. So there are different durations for different examinations. So if you take professional cloud architect, you will have 2 hours of examination, and there will be multiple choice or multiple select questions. So that if you are taking the associate cloud engineer examination, you'll be evaluated upon the technicalities of the Google Cloud. And if you are going for a professional level examination, you'll be evaluated for both technical and professional technical and business requirements as well. So there are practice exams when you want to take examinations, and there will be no pen, paper, pencils allowed during the test. Even if you are taking it from home, that will be applied um, also. So I think this would help you to kind of gauge what's next after Cloud Seekho. Why we have chosen these quests is because we want to lay the foundation for you to understand about Google Cloud Platform, so that you will be able to advance in your career, or even advance in the knowledge of Google Cloud related technologies, which will be helpful for you in the future. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you. If you have any questions, we'll be there for Q&A session. And if you want to have like immediate questions, if you have immediate questions, please post it up in the comment section. We'll be able to help you out to answer those out. So nothing to worry. Please to be a part of Cloud Seekho, because this is a very good stepping stone. And as Saad mentioned, like if you are coming from software engineering background, if you are coming from a data science or data engineering background, or maybe you are coming from like a different technical background, or even if you are like don't have a technical background, you are still keen on learning about cloud technologies, be a part of Cloud Seekho, and do join the Slack channel. That will there we have we have a very good cohesive like a community helping each other out, answering questions. So they got your back to help you out over there. So that's there. And finally, I would say Cloud Seekho, it actually opens up a lot of avenues for you to kind of explore, because you would want to learn about the machine learning, you would want to know about the basics of data engineering, you would want to know about the DevOps areas, where my friend Raju is coming from a DevOps background, where he will show you a demonstration of how you could get exposure to Qwiklabs and how you could complete one of the labs inside the Qwiklabs. So that will be helpful for you as well to get started. So it doesn't matter where you come from, there's an avenue for you. But Cloud Seekho will be a very good starting point and a learning opportunity. So keep your comments coming in, and I would like to hand it over back to Ira.
Thank you so much, Afraz, for joining us today. So our next speaker is Raju. Hello, Raju. How are you?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I'm good. It's all good. The situation is kind of not so good, but I am good actually. And it's like really interesting to meet the community after like few months. So I think some of us I see in the comment section also. I'm meeting again the few people. So it's interesting to be a part of the GDG Cloud Islamabad. So yeah.
So Raju is a Google developer expert in cloud as well. So you can throw all your queries in the comment box for Raju to answer. So Raju, I am handing it over to you. So now you have the stage. I'm leaving.
Yeah, thank you. So hello everyone. So hope you are having a good time also. So and also thanks to the GDG Cloud Islamabad community for inviting me and giving me opportunity to share uh, the Cloud Seekho campaign with Qwiklabs. So as Saad said, is actually a good learning platform because in the college days, I wish there was a platform or source like Qwiklabs. So with the accesses we are already getting. So if it was there, it will be a like very good way for learning, and I could have learned more. So but as you all are lucky, and you will get a full of month of credit or the access for the Qwiklabs. So you can learn Google Cloud. Every like the Qwiklabs is kind of storage of the learning for the Google Cloud and also other cloud providers. So it's a really good platform. So best of luck for the learning. So I'm Raju from Kathmandu, and I'm a GT Cloud, and also involved with Oyster Financial as a site reliability engineer. So this is me. The photo is actually from the GDG Day Fest in late 2019 while I was in Islamabad, and I still miss the community. I could have extended my trip, but yeah. Okay, so diving into the Qwick Lab. So I will be like breaking down today's this webinar into a few parts. So expecting like some of you might have already started the Qwick Lab. Some of you might be thinking of starting, or some of you have already completed the Qwick Lab. So taking that apart and joining all of them, so I'll be briefing for all of the so that I could toss, so that if you are already involved in the Qwick Labs or doing the labs also, so I could share more overviews of how could effectively use the Google Cloud features and get the most out of it. So Qwiklabs is a learning platform, of course. So and not like the simulation or somewhere. Qwiklabs is a platform where you could actually get hands-on with the Google Cloud. So you could get an actual credential. You could log in into the Google Cloud and keep learning, and you don't need any kind of credit cards and all of that thing. So it's a really interesting for learning, and it has a courses from entry level to expert level. So whether you want to dive into big data, AI, ML, or DevOps, or just improving your skill in your development environment or anything like that. So there are lots of questions there, so you can learn from there. And in the Qwiklabs, so I just want to give a brief overview of these terminologies which we get from the Qwiklabs more often. So there are labs, quest, and catalog. So you can consider like lab is for the specific topic. So let's say if you are learning to build a website, so I would consider like when you have to build a website, so you might need to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So let's just consider that as a brief part. So those three would be each of the labs. Let's say if the quest name would be how to build a website, then the lab will be like learning HTML, learning CSS, and learning JavaScript. So that is the kind of a distribution between the labs and the quest. And the catalog is when you land in the Qwiklabs, so you can browse through the catalogs, and it is a collection of both labs and quest. So one option is to like dive into the quest and learn like more of it by combining all of the labs or some of the labs. But in catalog, you can also choose to dig into one of the labs and just learn with it and get familiar with it. And there are like 11 quests which you can complete for getting the swag. So it's kind of a learning as well as getting those swags and foreign also. And in this coronavirus situation, it will be like a good learning platform, and you could also like remember it for a long time, right? So at the time of coronavirus, I started in the cloud and I have reached there, and so it will be like interesting also. So you can complete any of these 6 quests for getting those swags. And for getting started, just go with it with the events start with google.com/cloud Seekho, and you can and after filling the form, you will get a link, and you can follow the links for getting a Qwiklabs full 1 month of the subscription. So after that, like you can go or play with any of the quest and learn from there. So in this webinar, so I will be talking mostly on the first quest, which is the essential quest, and it is a kind of like fundamental ground for learning with the Google Cloud, because before you dive into any of those technologies or before you dive into any of the products, so you have to get familiar, like how can we handle that, how can we log in, or how can we create a new resource, how can we give the accesses. So these are the things so is the essential quest covers. So there are 5 labs in the essential quest which you can complete, and I think it's not too hard, and you don't need any kind of like technical background or so like more experience with the cloud. So if you have a bit of development ideas and a bit of like servers or any of those, so it's not so specific to have any kind of the like accesses or any kind of privilege also. So you can just start with it. And these are like 5 labs in the essential quest. So the first one will start from the tour. So what is the Qwiklabs, and how can we like start with the Qwiklabs, how can we log into the Google Cloud, what are the top features, so okay, how is the dashboard of the Google Cloud. So these are the things with the tour of the Qwiklabs and Google covers. And then after that, on the second quest, or in the second labs, there is a creation of the virtual machine. So it's like when you have to create a new instance, let's say Ubuntu or CentOS or Windows. So that's what the second quest covers. And the third quest is all about the Google Cloud Shell. So this is like one of the interesting feature, and I like, and I mostly use in my local environment also, like for getting into the server. So you'll get a free access for each Google Cloud account with the shell, which the Linux shell, you can like play with it. You will get a full online access or a small server, and it's like completely free for each of the accounts, each of the Google Cloud accounts. And the fourth lab is about the Kubernetes. You might have heard the whole hype of the Kubernetes, so it's all about that. And the fifth one is about the load balancers and handling the multiple servers and sending the traffic requests and how they respond, how we are grouping the servers, so all of that. So before diving into the quest, so a few terms that has to be like understood while diving into the Google Cloud. So there is region and the zone. So while practicing those labs, so you will hear about the zone and the region often. You will see something like US Central 1 or US East 1A, 1B. So these are the kind of fundamentals And the Google Cloud resources are mostly located on multiple regions. So there is like a Singapore region, or Indonesia, or US. There are a few more regions in the US. So it is divided into the geographical region. So one region means one geographical region, and within the region there are multiple zones. So there are a few resources which you can select to create as a regional one. So let's say if you have a load balancers or any of those resources which needs a more high availability, and which cannot go down by like some kind of error in the data center or something like that. So for that we create a regional resource, and one step down on the region is a zonal resource. So we'll see into that in the actual lab session also. And the next one is the GCP console and the Google Cloud. So the GCP console is actually the UI console which we browse from the web browser and create a Google Cloud resources, delete them or manage them or anything like that. And there is another one called G Cloud, which is the command line interface. So we install a G Cloud command line interface and talk with the Google Cloud using the command line. And the next one is the manage versus self-manage. So it is fixed by itself. So when you have to manage the resources, when you have to run by considering the infrastructure, when you have to run your application or your service by yourself, so you have to manage all of that. And there are few resources which are self-managed by Google Cloud. So you don't have to worry about the backend infrastructure. You just let or run the service and let it go, and Google will run by itself for infinite time until you stop it or terminate it. So diving into the first quest, so I will be dividing into a few quests. So the first three quests are kind of can be binded into one of that. So I will be going through these three quests, these three slides, and then go into the actual Google Cloud interface through the Qwiklabs and show you the demo of these three quests. So in the first quest, you'll be like we will be knowing more about what is the Google Cloud project and how we can give access to other resources. Let's say we have a new project, let's say called my project, and there are other resources like that could be a compute engine you might be doing with the Cloud SQL. I see lots of comment of knowing about the Cloud SQL. So we have to we might have to give accesses. Let's say I have a project and there are a few people working in the project, and I need to give access to one of the developer or the sysadmin to Cloud SQL. Then I can give only the SQL access to that person. Or let's say I'm creating a new compute engine or any of the servers, and I need to give to someone, so I can give the granular access. So that is the identity access management. And the cloud resources is, as its name says, the compute engine, Cloud SQL, or a Kubernetes cluster, or anything that is mostly related with the Google Cloud platform is the cloud resource. And the roles and permission. So in the first lab, it's about the role and the permission also. So you can create a collection of the roles. Let's say if you have to give the Cloud SQL as well as the cloud storage access, as well as the compute engine access to one person, so you can create a role. It is kind of high level of let's say a definition of the permissions, and we can attach the roles to give the access. And also the next way for creating the Google Cloud resource is through the API, and also interacting more of the resources. Let's say if you want to create a new VM, or you want to create any other resource, we can call through API. And as well as by default most of the Google Cloud services are like kind of disabled, and you need to activate the APIs, so that it is like kind of for the security purpose and for their let's say for the research functionality also. So if you are not using it, it's then to avoid like you are accidentally using it. So to use those resources, we need to enable the API also. So the second quest of the cloud essentials. Google Cloud Essentials is creating a virtual machine. So I consider like virtual machine to be a backbone. So whatever the resources you run by custom, so that might be like more or less connected with the virtual machine. If I say like you could create a Ubuntu server or a Windows server or CentOS, so that all comes under the virtual machine. So it's called the compute instance in the Google Cloud terminologies, and you can customize your VM or the virtual machine instance based on the CPU. You can add, like, let's say for the starting server you could give 2 core of CPU or 4 gig of RAM, and you can actually increase it, or you need some kind of disk storage, certain GBs, and you might need to segregate the computer engine instance based on network, or you could say like I want this network for the dev environment, and I had another one for the production or the staging environment. So that is what the virtual machine instance is. And interestingly, you can actually access the virtual machine or the compute instance from the web console also. So unlike other few cloud providers, you don't have to like install the SSH and SSH keys and all of that. You can actually SSH or into the instance through the web browser also. So that is what the second quest covers. It is like a pretty straightforward also. So we'll go into the demo. And the next one, as I said, this is one of the most interesting and mostly used thing also. So the Cloud Shell, it is a free server by which you can access the cloud resources. So let's say if you have to create a new resource in Google Cloud, so one way would be using the web browser, and another way is to use the Cloud Shell. So you can say something like gcloud resource create, and you can give any of the resources, and if you have the access, then you can create a full resources. And like about the Cloud Shell, I use the Cloud Shell from the mobile also. It has a very nice mobile app for using the Cloud Shell, and you can access, let's say, yes, it is often helpful in terms of like when I'm out of home and there is some actions need to be performed, or there is some kind of issue in the servers, then actually I can SSH or enter into the Google Cloud Shell from the mobile app and access any of those resources. So it's really interesting. And for using like Docker or the Kubernetes, or there are few clients already installed in the Google Cloud Shell. So you don't have to install more of the resources or more of the packages for a normal workflow. So before getting to the Kubernetes, let's go into the Qwiklabs actually, and I will go into creating a compute engine instance. So that will cover the 3 of the quest also. So let me change my screen back. Just a second. Let me share my screen. Okay. So is my screen being shared?
Yes, Raju, I have added your screen to the screen.
To the
So people
Qwiklabs.
can see your screen. Yes.
Yeah. So this is the Qwiklabs essential quest. So it has it has 5 labs, and you can see like for each labs there is some kind of a duration, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So and there are 30 minutes. So so for each labs there is some kind of a time allocated based on the complexity, based on the length of the labs, and you can start from any of the labs, but we will start from like it's better to start from the first one. So the first thing I will do is enroll in the quest. Okay, so by enrolling in the quest, so I will get like the first one, the first labs, and if I have to, like, I will go through the compute engine instance. So let me go through the virtual machine, and I will cover the first, second, and the third quest, so it will be more easier. So and for that, like you can see one credit, but when you fill the form in the Cloud Seekho this page and get the form filled, so you will get the actual access to 1 month of free credit, so you don't have to worry about the credit. uh, and for getting the cloud credentials, so we'll just start the labs, and after starting the labs, this time we'll start to click on. So I will recommend to read all of these at once, so you can just skim through all of these processes all at once, and then you can start the lab, so you will get more time and don't have to hurry about like time is clicking and so you don't have to hurry about. So when you start the lab, this labs cost, so when you get a full month of the access, so you don't have to worry about that, and I will launch with 1 credit for now. So one lab will cost me a 1 credit. So after starting the labs, so you can see the first few things. So there is a open Google console, so I said it is a web UI, and there is a username, passwords, and the GCP project ID also. So you don't need any credit cards or anything like that for actually learning. So when I go to open Google Cloud Console, and after this time finishes, like after 40 minutes, so I will be auto logged out. So it is not for the persistent storage. So I will copy the username. I'll create a new account. Okay, so let's enter the email or the user ID and the password. Okay. So that's it. So we are entering a brand new Google Cloud account. So I have to accept a few things. So we don't need to update. Just confirm the project your account. Okay, here I am. So I'm launching a new Google Cloud account. And before this loads on, so also like this username password is completely temporary. So after completing the labs, this username password won't work. And the interesting thing is when you are doing the actual labs, so you will get this type of progress box. So the labs consist of few steps. So these labs should say like do create a new instance, do this one. There are lots of steps. So after almost each of the steps or few of the steps, so you would get this kind of confirmation, so to actually check the progress. So when it says like create a new instance, and if you get this output from the IP, then you just need to check my progress. So after doing this, Google Cloud will actually check the Google account, the GCP account, and checks like whether you have completed the progress or not. So without completing these boxes, so you cannot say like I have completed the labs. So after checking all of the progress, and after you get all of the green signals from the progress, so that will mention like you have actually completed the labs, and after completing the labs, so you will complete the quest. So let's go into here. So I'll agree and continue. Yeah. So this is the main dashboard where you can see like the project name. We have the new project name and the ID, and the project number is not much of use for the project number, but the project name and the ID should match with this one. So if you are not landed into the good project, so you can just select from the project list which you are assigned from the GCP project ID in the Qwiklabs. So I'm already in there, and there are few things. So billing you don't have to worry about, and what is the like API request per second, error reporting, or there is a new Google Cloud news. So these are all can be accessed from here. And when we toss into this breadcom, we can see like lots of resources in there. So if you have to go like from the first part, it mostly talks about the IAM, the identity access management. So this is mostly for like giving the access to people or for the project to actually access the Google Cloud resource. and there is like app engine computing. So there are lots of like resources within the Google Cloud. So these are all can be accessed from this part. So let me go briefly into the IAM section, the identity management access system, and let me at the same time let me activate my Cloud Shell. So it's like easy to activate the Cloud Shell. So whether we are working on Windows or Linux or Mac or any of the operating system, so you don't have to actually install the command line tool on your local system. You can actually use the Cloud Shell. So let me activate it. So when I'm actually starting for the first time, it will take some time. So let's leave it there and come back to the IAM section. So it's loading. And you can add the identity access management to any of the people you want, but from the Qwiklabs, so you don't have the access to add the actual people or actually add any of the Google account, so it is deactivated. But you can see like there are lots of email addresses or the service account IDs in there which have access. Like let's say if this email address or this Google account is the editor of the project and the app engine. So there, you can see lots of those resources, and there are lots of these email addresses. So you can actually refine the accesses and the permission to specific people. So that's what the IAM is. So coming back to the Cloud Shell, yeah, this is interesting. Yeah. This is a free server, so you can also use it as a text editor, initializing the text editor and edit the files. And if you are using the actual Google Cloud account, so it will be persistent also. So for me, I will keep most of the resources which might be required at the time of emergency or keys or something like that. So I will keep in the Cloud Shell, so I will say like I could access them from a mobile also. Okay, so let's go into creating a VM instance. So if we follow the quest from the top, yeah. So the compute instance or the VM instance, I would say, is the zonal resource. So there are lots of region in there. The new one is Indonesia. I think it was added a few days earlier. So these are the regions: US West, Central US, or US East, or US like Western Europe. So all of these are zones, and all of these are regions, and we have zones. So mostly a region consists of 3 or more zones. Like US Central have more than 3 zones, and the compute instance is actually a zonal resource. So when you create a new instance or the compute instance, so actually it will be created in a data center in that region. So for getting the highly availability, we might need to create more compute instance in multiple zone also to avoid the to prevent the failover. So let's try to create a new compute instance. Let me create a random instance. I will check the progress. So okay, let me create a new instance. So there are 2 ways for creating a Google Cloud resource, even for the VM instance. So I will go to the compute engine and then create the instance. So one is, like I said, one is using the Google Cloud Console, the web console for creating the resource. And another one is the G Cloud SDK, and we will use the Cloud Shell for that. It's taking a long time for provisioning. Okay, let's see it. Okay, so we don't have any of the compute instance, so we'll create a new one. It's take just like about 1 or 2 minutes for getting a VM instance ready, so it's so quick. Okay, so here we'll give a test instance. Let's say a test name, and what is the region you want to select. Let's say for me, I will choose Singapore, and any of the zones. You could choose any of the zones, and we can actually configure the instance spec also, like how much of the CPU or the memory you want. So don't choose very high specs, so that will ban you from the Qwiklabs. So choose whatever is mentioned on the Qwiklabs. So for now I will choose N1 standard 1, and we can also choose what is the VM, like the engine template or the image you want to use. So that could be like Debian, Red Hat, or Ubuntu, or Windows Server. So I will choose Ubuntu. And there are different versions also, like 16.04, 18.04. These are lots of images, so I will choose 1804. And also the disk size, let's say I will choose 15 gig. And the next one is like by default the firewall is actually blocking the IP addresses or the port for accessing the server. So I will click on the allow HTTP traffic, which will actually open the port 80. So if I choose allow HTTPS traffic, it will open both of the ports, like 480 and 443. And let's create an instance. Okay, so there is a like nice cloud shell also, but I will go into the terminal section. Okay, so it's creating the test instance. Okay, so it gives us like the name and what is the zone we choose, and it gives the internal IP, which is for its own internal use, for like you have to communicate between the instance to instance within the internal IP or the external IP, which we actually use for that. But I created a test instance and it was not mentioned in the quest. So like if I go to like if I check still like check my progress, it says like I haven't completed the quest. So for that I need to create an instance as mentioned in this spec. After that only it will give me a red signal, and that could be mentioned as I completed the lab. So another way for creating the instance is using the gcloud command line, so using the cloud shell. So rather than like it might be too time consuming also going through like create instance, configuring all of those things. So to avoid that, one way is to like enter the gcloud command line. So gcloud SDK we have there, and we have the cloud shell running in there. So if I just click on this one and run it through the cloud shell, so that will create a new instance. So it's not using, so let me just use set my project ID and get our config set project, and I have the project already mentioned here. Okay. So when I create an instance, so this is like gcloud compute instances. So I want to create a new GC lab to name instance, and it will be N1 standard, so which is I think 4 core and 7.5 GB. So and it will be created on US Central 1C zone. So it's actually created, and we have a IP address of it, and actually I can SSH into the instance by two ways. So when I do the refresh, is my internet really slow? No. So there are two ways for SSHing into the instance. So if I do SSH, so this is like a simple way. We don't have to like go into the CLI or the command line, local command line interface, and run it from there. But we can just click on the browser and it will just pop up. Is my SSH the window being shared? It has just. So I could run all of these commands from this cell also. And another thing is we can actually use the cloud shell for SSHing into the instance. So I would say gcloud compute SSH, GCE labs, and zone US Central 1-C. So it'll I need to enter sorry GC labs 2. That's the name, sorry. GCE lab 2, sorry. GCE lab 2. So this is like simple way for to get into the instance. So that's it. So I'm inside the Google Cloud instance, this instance, and I could install any of those things, so apt update or anything like that. So these are the two ways for both creating the instance and for SSS into the instance. And the quest actually guides you for creating the instance as well as install an Nginx server. So it's like simple as sudo apt install Nginx, right? Yeah. So that is like a similar one for test also. So when I browse using the instance and I actually have to browse the IP, then it will just pop up with the uh, Nginx console or the Nginx web UI. So that is like pretty much of the three quests which will guide you through the Google Cloud Console as well as the compute instance. So I will switch to over to the fourth quest. So this is about the Kubernetes engine. I might have heard about the Kubernetes engine. It is a fully managed product. The Google Kubernetes engine is a fully managed product for managing the Kubernetes, and it is like kind of there are two ways for running or your server. Like, so you have an application ready, you might want to run into the company instance, maybe use some deployment mechanism to get into the company instance and deploy in there. And another one is containerize it, so that actually when you containerize, the benefit is anyone you can share it with anyone, and the person will actually, let's say if you are using the Docker as a container, there are multiple ways for managing the containers. One is Docker. So if you have Dockerized application, so anyone, you would hand over the Docker file or the Docker image, so that person could easily run your application. So that's like adds a lot more flexibility. And for getting this Kubernetes engine, so the first requirement is to Dockerize your application, and we can run the Kubernetes engine. And also the backbone for the Kubernetes engine where your application actually runs is the compute engine. So let's say if I have to create a new Kubernetes cluster, let me create a new one, but if it allows. So this is like way simpler for creating the Kubernetes cluster also, and for creating the deployment, I would say. Okay, so the Kubernetes adds a lots of more flexibility and performance as well as security. So you don't have to worry about the auto scaling part, like based on the load. Let's say if you have a Black Friday or a weekend or any of that. So the auto scaling part is handled by the Google Cloud, so we don't have to actually worry about that. So it adds a lot more flexibility, and we can keep on improving our application rather than being worried about the application infrastructure and all of that. But we need some kind of expertise for getting the Kubernetes. That is one of the part of the learning part also. And after that, out of the box, it provides the load balancing features, auto scaling, logging, monitoring. So all of these things come under the Kubernetes. And when we create a cluster, so if I try to create a cluster, it's so easy to create a cluster also. Let's give some time. So the backbone of the Kubernetes is, let's say if you have to run a new server, that also falls under the compute engine. Let's say if I want to run a Dockerized application in Kubernetes, that will get a new instance and run into the instance. So let's say I want to create a new cluster called test cluster. So I'm using the same GCP account from the Qwiklabs, but all of these will come under the separate account. So I'm using the VM machine to save the time, but there is a different labs for the Kubernetes. So let's just create one cluster for now. So there is also on which zone you want to create a cluster and all of that. When you create any of the Google Cloud resource, most of the Google Cloud resource, you need to select the location, whether you want to create in which region or which zone. So if you are near to, let's say, we must be more near with Singapore region. So in terms of latency and performance also, if it will be a lot faster if you create in Singapore region rather than US Central one. Or any of the US regions. So In the second last quest of the Kubernetes, you will be creating a new deployment. Let's say you have a new Dockerized application. So here, in the quest, it is being used like the GCR So this is the kind of a Docker registry or the image path. So there is a Google sample Hello app application with a version 1.0, and we'll be actually creating a new deployment which will actually create a new container image inside the cluster, and we'll be exposing that through the load balancer. So when we create any of those servers, so there needs to be a way for accessing the resource. So two ways for that. One way is for actually using the VM instance IP address, and another one is the load balancer. So when we create a new instance, in there, if we go to the compute engine part, for each instance, it has assigned a public IP address. So one way is to use the public IP address for accessing the service, and another one is through the load balancer. So if I go to compute engine again, let's keep loading. Okay, so here you can see. So these are the public IP addresses for each instance, like for test and all of this. And when I create a new Google Cloud Kubernetes cluster, so it actually created a master node in the Google server, so we don't have to worry about. And it created 3 instances. And in the Kubernetes DOM, we say we have created a cluster with 3 nodes. So each one of these is nodes. So when we create a new application or deploy a new application, we cannot browse by using these IP address. So we need a load balancer for that. So this is how the Kubernetes work. So let's say if I need to create a new deployment, so coming back to the virtual machine, and one thing is when you are switching between the labs, you should always finish the lab or just stop the labs, because until you finished one of the labs, you cannot start the another lab. It will give some error also. So always finish the labs, but you can come back and go within the time. So going into the fourth lab of the Kubernetes, so it says, so there is the same way for creating the cluster. So I created a cluster using the web UI, and there is another way for using the Cloud. Just as we created the compute instance, we can give the cluster name, and by just entering this command, it will create a new cluster with the 3 nodes by default, and we can check whether we created the cluster or not. And one way is when we need to deploy an application, so it is already a packaged Docker image in here. So when I run this command from the Cloud Shell itself, let me exit through the VM. Okay, so I'm in the Cloud Shell now. So for creating any of the resource, we need to authenticate with the Kubernetes, right? So anyone could not use the Kubernetes. So for that authentication also, there is a simple way for that. So for each of the actions, there is both the UI way and the CLI way, or the Cloud Shell or the G-Cloud way. So I could actually dive into the Kubernetes cluster or enter into the cluster so that I actually access the cluster. Let me get it loading. Is my internet really bad? It's loading. Okay, so we have a test cluster ready, and actually I can do connect and run Cloud Shell. So it is easiest way for running the command also. So it has made a lot more easier. So we don't have to remember the commands also and all of that. So it will create a terminal and even copy paste the connect path or the command also. So this is the command we need to run on. But actually, if I run in the Cloud Shell, it will run by itself. So it is one. Okay. Okay, I got it. And then next kubectl get. So the kubectl is the command line interface or the SDK for Kubernetes. Let's say we created our Google Cloud resource using the gcloud command. Just like that, the kubectl is a command line for the Kubernetes. So anything we get with the Kubernetes, we enter with the kubectl commands. And we say for like is Docker container to be a pod in Kubernetes language. So there is no ports or no deployments in there. So we need to create a new deployment. I will just copy from here and I will create a new deployment. So yeah, the deployment is created. And if we say kubectl get parts, so I have one hello server app is running in here. So that means one container is running in here, and I need to expose it through the load balancer so that actually I can access the hello server. So for that, I will expose the deployment. So I need to expose the deployments, the hello server deployment to the load balancer, and it is running on port 8080. So if I run this command, that will provision a new load balancer. So kubectl get address get services also. So it is creating a new load balancer with the service type, and the external IP address is being provisioned. So if we wait for some time, or we can actually give -w to watch the service. And after some time, in few seconds, it will give us a new IP address, and we can actually use or access the hello server. So it has give it. So let me do this one. Okay. So I've got a new external IP address at the load balancer. Okay, here. It will take some time for the health checking so that the actual application is ready to serve the traffic. So let's give it some time. And the load balancer is being created from here. So if we want to dig into more, so there are lots of sections in there, the compute engine, and there's the networking section. So we can just scroll like that. So if you are, like, need to learn about the storage, so these are the storage options you got there, and these are the networking options, like for creating a new network, or like network intelligence or network security. So all of these things can be accessed from here. And we got the load balancer from the network services section. Let me scroll down a bit. This one, okay. So the good thing about Kubernetes is it will not serve the traffic until the app is healthy. That means the health check is performed by the Google Cloud. So it will take some time, but it will provision a new IP address with the load balancer, and you can see from the load balancer. And this is also, the load balancer is also used for the last quest, the networking using load balancer for HTTP as well as the TCP load balancer. Okay. Loading. Seems like it is a peak time for the internet. Okay, let it be loading for some time, and we dig into the another lab. So the next lab is setting up the network and the HTTP load balancer. So at the first lab, we created a compute instance, right? And we run the application in there, but that is not too like good way, because if we have the instance having some problem, then our application is down. and if there is some problem in the networking layer or any of that, our application is down. So to add a failover or to add a more reliability, we need more instances, right? That's one of the purpose of Kubernetes also. So actually it is creating more compute instances while creating a new cluster. So if you are not like another option of the Kubernetes is creating a multiple instances. Let's say if you have a let's say e-commerce, then you have auth service or a product service or a cart service, then actually you can create a group of instances. Let's say this first group is auth service and the second group is cart or the product service. Uh, then each of those service has a multiple instance running in there, so that let's say if one of the instance of the auth service goes down, the another server will be serving the auth service. So that has a more of a fault tolerant, and for that we need a load balancer. And there are two types of load balancer in Google Cloud. So there is one is a network load balancer and the HTTP load balancer. So the HTTP itself is like for when you need to serve HTTP or HTTPS traffic through a URL, then we need a HTTPS load balancer. And for network traffic, let's say not only the our server or our web application, we might need to like host, let's say we need to host a Redis cluster or a Kafka cluster, or we might need to set up a VPN. So that for that we need a network load balancer. And the case is similar. We'll have a new static load balancer IP address, and that will forward to any of those compute instance, and we can set up a rule like, let's say if there is /group1 path, we'll be serving the traffic from the group1's multiple instances group, and if there is a group2, so that goes on. So this is like kind of the purpose for the using the load balancers. So if we go into here, it'll be taking long time. So it's still being provisioned. Okay, so we have it running. So we can actually see like whether the pod is running or not. It's running, and we can also like check the logs or any of that. So that's like the beauty of using the Cloud Shell and the combination of the Kubernetes cluster, and also for creating the computing instance. I think it's taking a long time for passing the health check. So that's what covers for this quest. So there are lots of questions there. So you can see like 11 questions there, and the Cloud Essentials is kind of like building the foundation of for diving into the Google Cloud. And the next one I would suggest, the second one I would prefer is the baseline develop and deploy, or the deploy and develop. So it will give the code snippet as well, and deploying the application to different infrastructure. Let's say we have a cloud function, cloud run, or the Kubernetes. So you could actually, like, if you are writing your own code also and want to deploy there, so that gives a broad idea from this quest. So I will suggest to start the second quest from this one, and like based on your level of expertise or your interest, like ML or AI, we can choose any of those quests. So happy learning. And like after completing the quest also, so the way is not finished, right? Because you have just built the foundation for diving into the cloud, and you can learn more. So yeah, keep on learning, and if there's anything I could help, just reach me out, and I would love to help in there. So thank you all for listening. I think it's still on health checking. Yeah, let me stop my screen.
Okay, so everyone, now it's time for QA, and I am adding all the speakers to the stream so you can ask relevant questions to the relevant people. And then after this QA session, we are going to have a brief session on Slack channel and how you can use the Slack channel to learn Cloud Seekho, and I think you can also use it in future as well. So let's add Saad, Shafraz, and Arshan is already here. Hello again. So Everyone, you can post your question in the comment box. I think nobody wants to ask anything. I don't know. Everyone, you can post your question in the comment.
Meanwhile, I can just encourage everyone to still, go to Cloud Seekho and kind of get engaged with us there, because there's a lot of opportunity to learn with Qwick Labs before you move on to, Google Cloud platform. It's a great Qwick Labs is a great starting point. And I know, मैं कुछ comments देख रहा हूँ. Sorry, I'll switch to Urdu for just a moment. बट वो कुछ लोग कह रहे हैं कि 6 क्वेस्ट बहुत ज़्यादा हैं या लर्निंग मेथड बड़ा लंबा है. That's how it starts off. It looks very difficult, but once when you get into that, once when you get into the mode of learning, eventually it becomes your life. It's something to enjoy, and that's exactly what we want to get you started with. And anyone has any questions, so please. बताएं. Sadakat has a question that how they can join GDG. I think it's more about just right now, since you can't attend events physically, so the best way to join is to be a part of the different initiatives, whether that is Cloud Seekho, whether that is some of the other GDG events. Attend them, be a part of them, or reach out to their team on their Facebook page to join their team as well. So it's pretty open. We have chapters in Islamabad, Lahore, Karachi, Peshawar, and we have a cloud chapter in Islamabad as well. We have some of the third-party communities that we work with as well. So we are very open at, kind of, we are a very welcoming community. We're very happy to have everyone. Like the fact that we have people from 3 countries on this live stream right now is pretty amazing, I think. And I hope everyone is, kind of safe, well. Yeah, so that's, just some thoughts from my end.
I saw one question for me. This is Adnan Arshad. I think I spelled it correctly. So he's asking me to answer like what is the difference between NoSQL and Cloud SQL. So Cloud SQL is basically a relational database. I would say it is a Google Cloud Managed service for MySQL, not the key value or the document database like NoSQL. So you could build a relational database into the Cloud SQL. It has its own backup mechanism. You could use Postgres or MySQL for that. So yeah, that's the difference between like using the NoSQL. And there is another option for running NoSQL, that is a cloud data store in Google Cloud, or you can keep the NoSQL data also.
I'll quickly take this one. So I think um, the one that Kamran posted is about any certificate with swag. So I think with this particular initiative, our focus is to help you learn and get started on the path that you will be able to get certificate later on. As Shafraz mentioned, there are different certifications that are offered, but for this one, you get to enjoy the learning process and you get to enjoy the bottles in the tea cap that you will get, but there is no physical certificate or even a digital certificate, but you do have these badges that you get on your Qwiklabs profile, and that you can add to your CV, that you can add to your profile. Do look into that. And just quickly answering the other one as well, Sadakat. So you did not get any confirmation email. So what we saw in the Facebook Live that we did yesterday with another person who recently tried is, what happens is that the email sometimes lands in your promotional inbox or it lands in your spam. So make sure that you're checking out, and we highly recommend that you try Gmail because you're going to need it eventually to access Qwiklabs. So just make sure that you are checking your spam, your promotions folder. And then we have some other questions. I'm gonna pause and let some of the other folks take on. I think Raju, they have one for you.
Is the cloud certification exam taken the same way as Qwiklabs? How much it costs to become a certified? So there are different kinds of certifications, Google Cloud Associate Engineer or the data. So there are different kinds of certifications, and you need to like the cost also varies. So I think Safraz has more idea for the certification part rather than me.
So to add to what Raju just mentioned, so the associate cloud engineer will be about $125 USD, and for a professional certification, it'll be about $200. But there's this ongoing promotion for associate cloud engineer examination, and if you sign up for that, you'll receive 30% discount. I think we can. I'll share the link with the organizer so that then they can put it up in the comment section, so you can follow that and get 30% off for associate cloud engineer examination. But before that, complete the quest in Cloud Seeker.
And another one we have from Nakib here is a question that he's a student in BS Software Engineering at Virtual University. In second semester, he thinks that the learning at his university is does not have very up-to-date material. So how can he enhance his skills through GDG Cloud? So I think again, this Cloud Seekho is the best platform to get started with that. So what happens is that in educational institutes, there the curriculum usually is not very up to date, and it's also the universities are like it's a challenge for them to update because there's so much things that are coming in. But it's the opportunity that you have with engaging with communities like GDG Cloud or with initiatives like Cloud Seekho, where you can upskill yourself and learn everything yourself. And trust me, when you meet people like experts like Raju or the other GDs that we have, nobody's gonna tell you that they were like super A-star students, but they were really good at learning stuff. And I've seen that, like that kind of. I had a very bad CGPA myself. I do not even want to mention it on record here, like really really bad. But I had a knack for learning, and I can say that for everyone who's connected to communities. If you want to learn, you don't really need to follow the usual curriculum. You can just come online and learn, and that's the opportunity that we have for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to add to that, Sad. आपके wherever you want to start, there's always information available on Google. So let's suppose you want to start on how to actually basically, just like Raju demonstrated right now, how to actually start from the very basic, start a virtual machine, and how to actually enable your cloud. And it's all up to you. The resources are available. I would just be flashing the link that right now Shafraz has given, that actually starts your whole certification journey that you can take and actually become a Google certified professional and a Google development expert in different cloud technologies. So it will be just added after this comment as well.
I think we have another question from Wakas, right?
Yes.
So it says, please highlight the opportunities for Qwiklab experts, how can leverage by upskilling, especially beginners. I think Saad pretty much covered how Qwiklabs can be useful for beginners because it covers a lot of introductory, fundamental level explanations about Google Cloud Platform. When we wanted to kind of launch Cloud Seekho, that's kind of a conversation we all had was, hey, how can we get started? What do we have to kind of tell the developers in Pakistan, students in Pakistan? What can we tell them? So what other best way than starting off with the initial, like the fundamental? So Cloud Seekho will help you out to kind of set the fundamental. From there onwards, what you can do is you can start learning and go into intermediate levels, expert levels, start building on that. So Qwiklabs is actually, you don't have to have a paid Google Cloud platform account to get started, because Qwiklabs gives you free access to Qwiklabs, plus it gives you access to Google Cloud platform as well, so that you can get started. Once you are familiar, then you can go and check out the free tier in Google Cloud Platform, which gives you US dollars 300, which will be available for an year's time. So I think that's pretty much enough for you to kind of get your hands on with that as well. So Qwiklabs is a learning platform, and certification is a different platform altogether. But Qwiklabs will give you the way to go into a certification.
I see one question on the top. Muhammad has asked, GDG Cloud Islamabad learning method is too lengthy. It looks like it is too complicated. It's not too complicated, and it's not too lengthy, as you can say lengthy. uh, because the one I covered is for the full quest, and if you see, it has allocated time of 40 to 30 minutes for each labs. And once you complete the first beginning part, then it takes like around 15 to 20 minutes for learning. But actually, taking the time aside, it's about like how much you would learn and how much experience you would gain. So by investing some time, if you could learn like how to actually access the cloud and how actually the software development to the deployment flow works. So that actually adds some more value also for getting a more of visualizations and all of that. And so considering that, I don't think it's like way too complicated and time taking, because you are actually investing for learning. So I would say to give some investment on time.
And just quickly answering one of the questions that I see on freelancing, which seems to be a very popular topic in Pakistan, is what is the beneficial, like how can it be beneficial for jobs like freelancing or any other organization? So this is kind of like a stepping stone. See, you go to any freelancing platform, there will be a lot of jobs related to cloud skills, and there are different categories. They could be related to deployment. They would be maybe looking for a cloud engineer. They might be looking for someone who can assist with DevOps. There might be someone who is looking for storage. So there are different kind of tasks that are there in the cloud that you are going to learn through this, on how to deploy, how to do. And so this is a very, very good way to get started with this. Even if you go to upwork.com right now, which is one of the top websites in the world for freelancing, you just write Google Cloud, or you just write GCP, or cloud. You will get like thousands of jobs or tasks that are open. So huge opportunity there. Even for direct platforms as well, like TopTal or Crossover, some of the other ones as well. You can directly get hired. That's another opportunity. And just to mention again on Nakib's point, so if Nakib, if you just recap on the what Shafraz in intro, what he said is that there is different pathways, and doing these quests is like a very, very small pathway. It's like a first step. After doing these quests, you do more quests. After doing more quests, you do more quests. Eventually, you learn, you practice, then you get into the pathway of maybe doing a Coursera certification. Eventually, you become an associate certified engineer. Maybe you get into that kind of pathway. So it's about exploring. And please keep this in mind that, like some of the other skills, cloud is not something that you just one day you learn, and it's not like HTML CSS that you spend some time and it just works, and the other day you're building websites. It takes a lot of months, weeks, years to be able to understand different sides of this. And that is how it happens. Like I would even, if I were to ask Raju right now that, what are you good at? So he would mention one vertical, and for other verticals, he might need more time, even though he's an expert. So to reach the path of expert requires a lot of learning, relearning, and unlearning. And do not underestimate that. Also, do not take it as a challenge that it's very complex. Trust me, I still do not know how to drive a manual car. I still think it's very complex. My wife knows how to do it. So it's just about putting yourself through the task and going through it. So yeah, those are some of my thoughts on this.
Because like lots of things are evolving, like in the cloud technologies, lots of tools or lots of ways are evolving day by day. And like it's not like even in HTML, CSS, or JavaScript, there are lots of technologies and lots of packages and lots of ways are evolving. Similarly, in the cloud, day by day. So if you follow, I would recommend to follow the YouTube channels and blogs of Google Cloud and other cloud resources also. So in each day, you would see like new things coming up or the new updates coming up, and for that we need to follow the path, and we need to actually get used to it, and actually follow what is happening new in the world, right? So it's kind of not how one time do the quest and finish, but it's actually making you learning over the time.
Okay, so I think our question answer session is finished. So, before moving on, I would like to answer the question. I've seen that a lot of people are asking how to join GDG. First of all, you all are already are a part of GDG, because when you attend our events, you become part of GDG community, and you are, I think you are, I believe, the most valuable part, because you are our audience and whatever we are doing is for you. So just keep giving us feedbacks on our events. uh, for these days we are obviously not doing a lot of physical events, but obviously you can attend all of our online events, just like you did with Cloud Seekho, and there are other online events from other communities, because we have GDG chapters in Islamabad, Lahore, Karachi, Peshawar. So you can attend online events sitting in Islamabad. You don't need to go. You don't need to have to be physically there in Peshawar or Lahore, etc. So you all are part of GDG community. Secondly, I receive a lot of queries from you people on how to join GDG volunteer team. So for that, I shared our email address where you can drop your CVs, and uh, specifically what exactly do you want to do by becoming a part of GDG. That's very important, because it might seems like it's a very easy job to do, doing the community work, but it takes a lot of energy. So it's very important that you are very enthusiastic about it, and you have actually extra energy to spare, so you can do the community work. So just keep those things in mind before joining GDG Cloud team as a volunteer. And obviously, we don't just welcome anybody like, okay, you want to be part of the community, okay, you are in. No, we actually do interviews, and we try to judge you from different angles, like how much time, how much commitment can you give to this community, what kind of work you can do, and only then you can become a volunteer of a GDG community. So that's all. I'll say goodbye here, but I would like to invite my co-manager, Arshan Anwar. He is going to briefly tell you about the Slack tool, how you can use Slack to communicate properly, and there are some rules and regulations. So he'll be briefing you on that. Uh, okay, so he's already here. I'm removing others from the stream. Okay. Hello, Arshan.
Hi, hi there, everyone.
Okay, so your
So,
presentation.
yeah, let me. Are you gonna do it? Share
No, no.
this screen.
So I am. So okay, I'm leaving the control to you.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Bye bye.
So, hello, everyone. Can you just comment if you can hear me? Hello. Okay. So, yeah. So right now, GDG Cloud Islamabad is a really great community where you can actually learn how cloud functions and how you can actually have access to learning resources with Google. So basically, what Cloud Seekho program has enabled us to do is actually make a Slack community. So what is Slack, how it's used, and what are some of the rules and regulations that we have for the community? I will be sharing that. So first, just a small intro. My name is Arshan Anwar. I'm currently working in Jazz as expert customer product design in the digital financial services. So Jazz Cash and all those things. I recently joined Jazz. Before that, I've been associated with multiple organizations. I've been working with Radical Growth as their CTO. I was CEO in Anzen and as a product developer in QuadSource as well. So, moving on, wherever there is an online community, especially in these times where there is COVID and there's less social interaction, there are a lot of tools that you use for increasing your productivity. These are some of the tools that are used internationally in different organizations to actually increase the productivity. Just like you are watching this stream on Facebook through another tool on which we are collaborating with different partners to actually bring this whole broadcast to you. So these tools are used to make sure that your productivity is on spot and that you can collaborate and that you can work together and learn together. So let's move on. Communication tooling is one of the most important aspect of any organization, and with that, Slack is one of the tools that companies use to coordinate with each other across continents to make sure that every project is going on time and on schedule. So within Slack, let me give you a very short intro how it works. Most of the people are already there, those people who are commenting in Facebook, as well as the people who are already on the Slack community. So this is just a short intro on how Slack works and how you can use it to actually collaborate with developers, with your peers all around the world to actually learn the cloud communication and actually learn the tool as well, so that when you move on to bigger organizations who actually use this tool or similar tools, you can use it comfortably. So within Slack, there are communication tiers. What are communication tiers? So on the top, there are workspaces. So we will have a GDG Cloud Islamabad workspace. That is sort of your main organization. So for example, I will show you the screenshot. So I can have a workspace for Jazz. I can have a workspace for Ensign. I can have a workspace for GDG Cloud. I can have a workspace for Google developers. So different workspace allows you to make sure that each organization that you're representing, they are in a very separate environment, separate container. Within your organization or within your workspace, you will have channels. So think of channel as a team, right? So within GDG Cloud Islamabad, we have got a beginners channel. So whenever you join the Slack, you will come in, you will introduce yourself over there. There are topics, different types of topics. For example, if you want to talk about Firebase, there's a Firebase channel. If you want to talk about, let's suppose, Cloud Seekho, there's a dedicated channel for Cloud Seekho as well. Then there are rules and announcement channels as well that the admins use to actually change the rules of the engagement that is going on inside the cloud, or any announcement that there is. So for example, this live stream is going on, so we can announce it there as well, or any certification is coming up, or any quick lab, or any you can say incentive is being provided. So we announce that in the Slack community as well. So within each channel, if you can see, if you can, if my mouse is visible, yeah. So within each Slack channel, there's going to be messages that are going to go. So for example, if I join the beginners channel, I'm just going to say, hi, my name is Arshan, I do this and I do this. But what you need to keep in mind is you do not need to overpost. So I will go over the rules in the end as well. And when some let's suppose if somebody messages a query, let's suppose I say, okay, how to actually start a virtual machine in cloud. So you don't just keep on adding messages, you actually go to the message and reply it in a thread. Think of it as a WhatsApp group, and then within the WhatsApp group there are messages, and then you reply to each message that you want the reply to be. You don't just keep on adding messages. So let me move on. So as you can see, this is sort of a snapshot of my own Slack. There are multiple organizations. There's Google Cloud, the Google Global Cloud, Anzen, And also the last one is from the Cloud Seekho GDG Cloud Islamabad Slack channel as well. So there are going to be workspaces. You can click on each workspace to go and access those specific channels. And then you move on to channels. As you can see, there's the beginners channel, there's Cloud Seekho, there's Firebase, GCP. So whenever you want to discuss a certain topic, you move into that specific channel and then you post your message over there. So let's suppose if you post, this is a message just arrived, hello Vakas here. And let's suppose Usman Abdullah asked that I've got this specific error and how to solve this. Whenever you will hover your mouse over this, you will see this start a thread toolbar. So here you can actually start a thread, and as you can see, somebody has properly replied over here. So whenever you have a message, it's always a good idea to actually reply within the thread. When you will reply, so as you can see, somebody named Positive Thinker has replied that you should not post similar messages in all the forums. So that actually shows you how threads work. And as you can see on the previous slide, the next message is there, and the screen is not getting crowded with just only random messages or replies to certain messages. So this is how threads work within the Slack. So let me just quickly go over some of the do's and don'ts, rules of our Slack community. Rule number one, be very respectful. There are people who are actually dedicating their time to help you out. So make sure that your time and your queries are very on point, and you don't need to abuse anybody or something like that. That would automatically uh, put you up for a ban from the Slack community. So rule number one, be very respectful to all of the community members. Second, use the right channel. If you are going to ask a random query, do make sure that either you are doing it in a random channel, or if you are asking a very specific question related to a specific platform, make sure that you are asking in the right channel. You should not post the same question in each and every channel. For example, your question may be related to how to actually access the Firebase database, and you are putting that in GCP, you are putting that in Cloud Seekho, you're putting that even in the G Suite platform channel. So that is not a right approach, and we do issue warnings for such kind of messages. Secondly, put your effort into your question. Make sure that your question is well thought out and well scripted, because the people who are reading, they don't have much time, and they will try their best to help you. But if they don't even understand the question, they won't be able to help you in the proper way. So just don't say I have an error. That guy actually put up a screenshot and put it in the proper forum, right? So rule number four, do not double post. Like I said, do not just keep on posting the same question in each and every topic, and nobody likes spam. Rule number five, keep it in the public channels. We do not encourage, neither do we allow private messaging within our Slack community. If you want to access somebody, or you want to address somebody, kindly do it within the channel or within the threads. Do not solicit members of our Slack. If you have a private business, if you have a private service, kindly do not post about it. If you want to hire somebody from the Slack community, do not post job posts over there. This is not allowed, and this is not the right forum for it, right? So rule number seven, do not use the @channel handle. This makes a notification go to all the members. That is considered very rude, especially when you are going to do it. It's going to tell you that there are people who are in very different time zones. So there are like 7 to 8 different time zones, people joining in from 7 to 8 different time zones. So imagine if somebody, if you are sleeping, and then at 3 a.m. Random message pings up, and you just see that message in your sleep, and there's somebody asking, I've got this error, how to resolve it, and it's not even related to you. So that's very rude. So kindly do not use @channel. Anybody who will use @channel will be automatically banned from the community. And last but not the least, use threads. Multiple message will be regarded as spam as shown in the bullet points. Make sure that your message is to the point and has all the supporting materials. If you people have seen error messages being posted on Stack Overflow, that is a good template on how to actually ask about some help. That if you are facing, maybe you can put a code snippet. Slack does offer code formatting as well, so you can put your message and then the code snippet as code underneath it. So that's about it from my side. Slack community has been made so that you can actually help each other and get help from the expert. I think Raju is in that Slack channel. Iram and myself are already there. Saad, Shafraz, both are already there. So if you have any question with regards to certification, how to actually start the cloud, how to actually get technical help on the cloud, as well as resourcefulness, so it is all available on that Slack channel. And I will conclude with the last message. Stay safe, everybody. These are not the regular times, and I hope everybody in the audience stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you very much. Back over to you, Iram.
So I think it's time to end the stream. I hope you people enjoyed. If you enjoyed it, if you think it was useful, you can leave a good comment after the stream ends. You can always send us feedback on our social media pages, or maybe you can use our Slack channel, or maybe our email address, whatever you feel like using. So, goodbye.
So
Stay safe.
that's the conclusion from our side. Signing off. Okay.
Thank you.